Hello, friends. Again, I welcome you to my data analysis in SPSS series. My name again is Dr. Lohua Mahmudu. Now, today, we are continuing with our series, and today we are going to look at finding descriptive of a quantitative or continuous, or in other words, numeric data in SPSS. So given your data set, which is quantitative and continuous or numeric, how are you able to find descriptive for this type of data? So let's get to it. So now I have already opened our data we have been using. So given this data, now you, first of all, before you perform the descriptive or quantitative data, you should be able to identify the variable that represents your quantitative data or continuous, or in other words, numeric data. So for instance, if you look at the data variable view of the SPSS, usually if the variable is a numeric variable and its SPSS under the measure identifies as a what? As a scale variable. Now, although it's not always the case, because there are times in which you might have certain ordinal variable being identified as scaled. So you have to be very careful in identifying them. But given this particular data, our age is a scale variable because we'll be able to find ratios and then some means. We have GPA of the students, which is also a scale variable. And then I think we also have another scale variable. Yeah, so we have the weight and then the height of the students, which is also a continuous or numeric variable. So given these variables, we might want to perform some descriptive statistics in SPSS. So how do we do that? Now, in order to do that, we go to Analyze, and then we click on Descriptive. So there will be a drop-down menu, and then under the drop-down menu, you have Frequencies and Descriptive. Now you can use either of these two to be able to display the descriptive statistics for a continuous, quantitative, numeric or scale data. So let's first of all look at using the frequencies. So in order to use the frequencies, so we click on Frequencies, and then we have to get rid of these variables out of our variables. We need only the scale variables or the continuous variables here. So age is continuous or quantitative, so we push age there. Height is also continuous or quantitative, we push height there. Weight is also continuous and quantitative. And then also the GPA of the student. So GPA, so we can push in GPA. So now here you go to statistics. Now under statistics, you'll be able to find the mean of any continuous or quantitative data. You should be able to find the median. You should be able to find the quartiles to be able to assess how spread is your data. Also, the standard deviation also help you to be able to assess the dispersion or the variation within the data. You might want to see certain percentiles, which you might want to know, and then even mode. So which variable within the data is occurring most frequently. If you want to know, you can actually click on what mode. Maybe you might want to know what is the modal age, or what age is happening most frequently within your data. So you can be able to also find the range. What is the range of my data, which is important. Now, standard deviation and variance are basically the same. Note that standard deviation, the square root of a variance give you what standard deviation, and they are all measuring the spread or dispersion within the data. You can be able to also see what is the maximum value within my data, and then what is the minimum. Now, in the nutshell, you can be able to actually find the 5-number summary of any given continuous data. So now we go to continue. Now we also have skewness and ketosis. Again, they are all measuring the spread of the data set. So now we just go to continue. Then now remember, if you are dealing with a scale data or quantitative or continuous or numeric data, make sure to uncheck display frequency table. If you don't uncheck display frequency table, you are going to see an output which is mess. So make sure if you are dealing with a scale variable, continuous data set, you uncheck this one before you proceed to click continue. Now you might want to display certain charts. Maybe we might want to, now remember, since we are looking at the continuous variable, we might want to know what is the frequency, because, what is the histogram? Because histogram is a graph we use in displaying a continuous or quantitative data. So we might want to see what is the distribution of our quantitative variables. Now, if you want to show the normal plot on the histogram, you can check this. But if you don't want to see the normal plot, you uncheck it. So let's try to check it and see how the histogram look like, if it is normal or it is not normal. So now we click continue. So again, we have unchecked this box. If you don't uncheck it, you are going to see a mess output. So now we go ahead and click one. Okay. So now this is the display of our descriptive statistics for all the variables we chose. So age, so under age, we have the mean of the age. We have the median of the age. The mean age is 21.99. The median is about 21. And then we also have for height, you can talk about height. And then we have the quartiles. So we have the quartile, the first quartile, which represents the 25th percentile, the second quartile, which represents the 50th percentile or the median. We have the third quartile, which is representing the 75th percentile. So these are information you have. We also have what is the standard deviation of age. We have 4.413. So it tells you that the standard deviation within this particular, the age of the student may be very high. And then we also have for height, and then the same thing for what? For the weight. So now these are the display of the histogram, which is actually using in assessing the distribution of each of the quantitative data we have. So for each of them, we will be able to, so you can see this is right skewed. Again, we can also see the frequency for, the histogram for height is right skewed. And then we can also talk about, the histogram for weight is quite normal or fairly normal. Then you can also say that of looking at the normal curve, you can say that the histogram for the GPA of the student is what is fairly normal. And then you can see for each of them, we are giving the mean and standard deviation. You can see the standard deviation within the GPA is 0.385, which is very small, as compared to height, which is having 5.363 standard deviation, which tells you it's having a high standard deviation, hence it is very skewed distribution. So there's how you can actually display the descriptive of any quantitative data set you have in SPSS. So I hope you also enjoyed this section, and I hope to see you in another section of this data analysis in SPSS series. Thank you for watching, and see you there. Bye.